Hey guys, it's Javas. We're back with another video series that I like to call Let's Trick the Algorithm into letting people see my channel for once. We're going to be going into how to attack. Stick around to the end of the video and you guys can see some nice tips and tricks that I utilize and I think every player should utilize to perform a dominant attack. Thank you. A great example of a great attack would be getting to Delta here. Clearly this guy doesn't have too much left. It is at the end of the game here. As you can see, he has 1 TADB protecting the line from vehicles with ATGM. He has 2 Cubs to protect from bombing and a BMP2 in the town that can't really see too much. As far as the line of sight of his infantry, if that was Metis or whatever, it doesn't really matter. He can just see basically all of this here, right? So in order to get an effective attack, I would go, I got my little pin tool here. This will be the enemy's line, correct? And they clearly can see from all these points. And what we would do is we'll come around, hitting there with infantry, and those IFVs will come up here. All of my tanks down here. So I'm gonna try to keep that up like that. All my tanks down here would draw the fire of the majority of the enemy ATGM and fire and their bombers by coming this way. And I also have 2 Bravies sweeping him this way. So if we had multiple tanks and multiple ATGM there, would be hitting it at so many angles that we would win no matter what off of sheer force. Alright, now let's see it play out. Of course, going to fast forward a little bit. Infantry going in first. He's going in. TDB. All that. Dragons pursuing. IVs pushing up past to snipe whatever is left there. Now there's not much left here. Another good example of an attack here. We have a very recent game that I probably uploaded by now. But the enemy has taken both of my side points here, and the majority of their ATGM, as you can see, is pointed in the vertical direction. As most people do, they play very vertical, so all of his stuff is pointing in the vertical direction. Here, we'll go red, and we'll go marker. So most stuff is pointing here, 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 and this Charlie in the back kind of just sees right here. But as you can see, I have 2 separate attacks going on. I have the first one, which is the 2A3s. Everybody loves the 2A3, so the majority of the ATGM and bombs will be going towards this 2A3 push this way. And I have the off glare to screen for me so I can see, while I'm pushing across infantry to mop up the majority of the vehicles. Alright, let's let this play through. Now you can see with the income resupping, I now have 1A1s to push the back line as well. Bombers coming in to mop up what I can. And that's beautiful here. One angle, cutting off the supply line back here. And those are going to fast move and up. These are going to move straight across. This Milan 2 is moving here to cut this off. Infantry still sweeping across. That is another example of a successful attack. We're going to fast forward it, let it play through. As you can see, we wiped the enemy line relatively easily. And on to the next. Okay, another scenario here is the enemy has pushed me out of the middle zone, and he's actually overextending here. I say overextending mainly because the LOS here. This, if you guys can't tell, this is a hill. It's a pretty little hill there. meaning all his forces down here cannot really support until you breach up. So this is kind of reverse slope going on, and we can isolate the majority of his forces. So these forces up here can all fight one PSSEB at a time, move to the next one, move to the next one, and then we can push back down as our reinforcements get here. These go at the bottom of the hill, try and occupy whatever reinforcements he has that wants to come up. All right, so to play through, you notice this drops off the crest of the hill. We now have Fuchs Milans that can fire into the city. Arm bursts that can fire into the city. It's like our opponent did a not so good job at resupplying his units. Now at this point we have martyrs. Each martyr is kind of set up where they can shoot into the city from the top of the hill. We're going to use our infantry first to go in. If you don't have recon, I recommend using your infantry as a screening force before any of your vehicles get into any fire support style of a position. First wave is up. Second wave of infantry is going up to clear the line as well. My martyrs, you know, if you guys watch my Art of War video, there's always a preliminary force fighting vertically, and there's a secondary force always fighting at an angle. So now we've taken back our territory here, and we have encompassed the enemy into a box here. We've taken this line. Oh, this is in blue. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. We red out here. That's Soviet OT. So we've taken this line now. We'll be poking and prodding the enemy. Our IV support still here. They can either go around or go into the town. We have our secondary detachment here going up and around as well. And as you can take note here, for the LOS going on, I can still kind of, if I leave my IVs right here, I queue up a bunch of orders and they can still shoot the majority of the units in the town on attack move. Over here, they can not do the same thing, so it'll be best to most likely go around where I can see the LOS tool does poke into the city at certain angles. And all right, we'll let that play through, see what goes on here. Nice CV snipe. You see how I'm utilizing the range of my IFVs. I'm not just driving IFVs directly into any fights here. I'm keeping them back as good as I can to successfully deplete the enemy of the majority of his forces. Now all my forces have moved up. Martyrs are moving back down. This detachment here is rather useless without any AA cover. Can hit from the rear. I have another marker I can bring here, and you saw I put some ATGM kilos as well. That's just going to easily destroy that. Our opponent just spams a bunch of planes and tanks because he is desperate and he knows this game is over, my friends. Of course, attacking is a very, very in-depth thing, right? There's multiple things that goes into it. So if you guys want to know on the tactic side of things, I do have a couple of Warno tactic videos that I will probably link right here. If not, it'll be in the bio. It depends on how lazy I am at the time, to be honest with you. Okay, so the first things we got to take into account when we're attacking is the other person's deck here. In this case, the AI is 5 Blindy. On the recon tab side of things, I would say the only deadly thing there is the AMX-10s. The thing in this case, we are an airborne division, so we can kind of get there before those tanks can. To do an effective attack against someone like 5 Blindy, which is a deck that kind of needs time, it can spam out a bit depending on the map and situation. A map like this, they will go tank heavy. In order to negate that, I will most likely press to Boris. I will probably capture Boris for probably about 2 or 3 income rotations. I'm just hoping he's trying to build up some sort of force to get back into Boris. Meanwhile, all I'm doing right here, setting up some ATGMs and planning on my attack here. This, me holding Boris, I'm not reinforcing it. I'm really only just resupplying it and getting some AA there. Other than that, my starting force that's going there will be the force to hold it. One of the main things, I would say one of the basics of attacking here is actually your move orders, right? There's several move orders. I recommend quick hunts, which in mine is the in move. Basically what that means is it's kind of like fast move. They stay on the road, they go quickly, except if they spot any enemies on that road, they will stop to attack them. So quick hunt for me is in. I do recommend using that for all your armed transports. Another one here will be your Q move, which is just basic hunt here. Q move is just your basic hunt. That tells you when you're moving, you always stop for enemies. And that is off-road, of course. There is also smart orders, which I don't recommend using. C's and hold position. It kind of delegates that your troops to the AI. So basically the AI is automatically moving around your troops to ideal locations. I would say the only thing to use that for is AA, because of course the AI does get an edge on where AA would be. Get $1 here. And one of the big factors when it comes to attacking is of course your line of sight tool. You can use that by holding down C. It shows the sights of all your buildings. Of course, the grayed out areas, the places your unit cannot see, or in your cursor in this case. So always keep that in mind. Also, if you're on something like an armored vehicle, you hold C, right? We'll just do the eyeball in this case, so it's constantly up. It shows the ranges of each gun, the mini machine gun, tank gun, and ground missile. And as you're moving that around, the LOS for each thing will change. I do recommend you placing your units based on those LOSs. It can definitely be great thing to do there. As you can see here, I don't use all of the 1500 points. I usually let around 100 to 85 float, because you never know what the next thing is going to happen. At this point, I see he's not here, so what I'm going to do is grab one Logi, slap it right there. Gazelle Hots. Just going to back up in that case. See, the Amex there just gets wrecked. Now we have what we need. That's basically what I'm... What's that? Whatever it is, we can ignore it. Over here. 1, 2. There we go. Those. Of course, we're floating 60. We're always floating some points every time. Hey.
Der Fußbus fährt immer. Fertig machen für Sturm und Einbruch.
Kills. And so you see this first attacking force is now in here. I won't be resupplying it. Well, I will with supplies, alright?
Abgesessene Kampfweise. Und noch einen Leichensack. Ah, es hat mich erwischt. Verdammt, es hat mich erwischt. Und noch einen Leichensack. Wrag периметр. Караул в ружье. Gegen Faschismus und Militarismus. Есть такая профессия. Родину защищать. Снижаемся! Gott bereit. 4-4. Wirkung im Ziel. Runner 4, warte auf Einsatzbefehl. Ah, es hat mich erwischt. Verdammt, Kommandant. Bewegung, Abstände vergrößern. Bestätige Wirkung im Ziel. Feind im Vorfeld, bereit machen. Hier Bewohner 4. Waffensysteme scharf und in der Luft. Ende.
So the key to attacking is knowing what you want to do in the first place. You can see here after my initial starting worked out.
Hier 4.
If it doesn't work out, you would defend, and that'll be another video. But for this, it worked out, and now I'm pivoting right here immediately. But now that my lanes are open, correct, I can go left here across and just bypass this whole front. I can go left here and smack the rear. At the same time, I can go forward and smack the front. That is how we attack.